into the turnover.
He's got a man.
Harburg going deep. Caught.
1-0, baby. 1-0. We haven't been able to say that in a long, long time. You know, this game probably even went better than I thought that it would. Nebraska winning 40-3, had 507 yards of offense, 285 yards of passing, 223 yards of rushing. We haven't seen that in a long, long time. And what did y'all think about Raiola? Man, the kid was just, to me, looked poised from the first drive. He said he had a lot of nerves. Took him about the third drive to get going. But it didn't look like it to me. And just being, you got to think about it, a 19-year-old kid, true freshman, first game in Memorial Stadium. Again, I have to say it probably was grateful that he had a UTEP team. I think UTEP's going to be a good team. It's just their first game under Scotty. They threw a lot at Nebraska. But Raiola, what he finished with, 19 of 27 for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. And probably the biggest thing is he didn't put the ball in jeopardy. I probably threw one pass maybe you might have thought of that he probably shouldn't have. But even then, you know, that's probably what they said he's been doing the whole time. His decisions, to me, was really good. He threw the ball away when he wanted to. I mean, for a freshman, what was the one that he checked down? He checked down to a pass. I think Rule even told us he checked down to a pass, and then he checked back into the run on Emmett's long run. I believe that was Emmett Johnson's long run. And you just don't normally get that. A lot of times you don't get that from sophomore or junior quarterbacks. So for him to do that, for him to do some of the things he did on his own, to make the decisions and the check downs on his own, and you saw it. If you watched the game, you saw it throughout the game, him making decisions and changing it at the line. Thought he did really, really well. And kind of tip my hats to UTEP. I thought they played a tough game. I think the depth got them big too, because Nebraska played every single player that they had. Bruce said everybody got in, and you saw it. I was seeing players in there. I had to go, who's got that Smith or that Sachs, Smith Flores or whatever? I'm like, wow, who's that? You know, even Harburg did decent. He was 5 for 5 for 35 yards, even had a couple good runs. If y'all want to see a clean game, when we were talking about a clean game, they had one turnover, and that was Dowdell's fumble down there around the 5-yard line. But they only had 3 penalties for 35 yards. And only 2 for 20 from the starters. One of them was that 15-yarder that came when the backups were in. So, man, but I'm just really impressed with Dylan Raiola. I'm really impressed with the whole team. You could see a big difference. Now, and Nebraska even ended up winning the turnover margin. They ended up, I think, +1, which when's the last time we've been plus at all? But let's see, on the receiving side, Nair was 6 for 121 yards, including that 59-yard touchdown, which was the one right in Raiola's face. That's the one where Raiola threw that ball with the defender right in his face, and that's a sign of a great quarterback. Another one that does that well, and I saw it too when I watched it, was Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. And I'm going to tell you that game right now, it's not going to be easy. I went back and watched that game. Colorado didn't play as bad as everybody keeps saying they did. I actually thought the Bisons, North Dakota State, played a pretty good game. I could kind of give my hats to them, but they always play tough. They're one of the better FCS teams there is. But if you go back and watch that game, it's not going to be an easy game. Defensively, they have some struggles, but offensively, Nebraska is going to really have their work cut out for them to stop Colorado and Sanders and Hunter next week. So I was kind of impressed with even how they did. I know everybody wants to talk about the score and how close it was, but you can't look at that. Mainly game one, you just can't. Banks ended up finishing 4 for 61 yards and a touchdown. And did y'all realize 11 different wide receivers for the Huskers caught a ball? 11. And Raiola, they had Raiola's numbers at 240. They said, the over under at 240. I actually took the over. I said he'd go over 240. And honestly, he would have went over 240, but he only played not even half of the third quarter and he was out of there. But he finished with 238. Either way, I'd have still lost if I would have bet it. So it was kind of impressive to see what I saw. But is this what everybody thought? Is this what everybody wanted to see? It's what I wanted to see. Is anyone disappointed, or is it even better? To me, it probably even went better being game one, right off the bat, coming off of last year, a true freshman quarterback. To me, this kind of went better than you could have asked. Don't you think? That any of you guys think it didn't? I really was impressed with how they did. And I love that we finally were able to get our backups in there. Remember back in the good old days, you saw it all the time. Nebraska would be able to put in their second and third and all that. And that's how that's how these great programs stay great, because everybody gets reps. Everybody gets into the game. We haven't had that. And you could say, oh, it's UTEP. I know a lot of people's going to say that. Oh, it's UTEP. Well, tell that to Georgia Southern or to Troy. Even last year, what was Louisiana Tech, 28-14? Just because they're not, we haven't really been doing this. When's the last time we had a 40-7 win? When's the last time you were able to go to a game and comfortably feel good the whole game without being on the edge of your seat? And I hope Justin had a great time at the game. I gave Justin my ticket because I'm still passing a kidney stone, so I couldn't go. I couldn't make that long trip and have it hit me. I'm on this medication, these painkillers, and shouldn't be driving with them. And so I ended up giving it to one of the guys that were on my live stream the other night, and he's the first one that asked me. Matter of fact, he was the only one that asked me to email me. So I went ahead and sent it to him. It's easy now. It's electronic now. So I was just able to email it to him that within minutes, and he had the tickets for the game. So I hope he enjoyed himself, because I was planning to go to this game, but I'm definitely wanting to go next week. I really hope this stone passes before then. If not, I might make the trip anyway. I just don't want to miss the Colorado game, especially a night game. I've been to, I'm telling you, the night games are just remarkable. But tell me guys, what you guys think. Tell me what you thought about the game. Did it defensively, was you disappointed anywhere there? I thought defensively they did okay. You saw a lot of nerves at the beginning. One thing I'll say that now, that I thought Utah, I think that first drive that Nebraska took about 5:50 to drive down and score on the very first drive, that kind of took a little out of UTEP, because you're thinking about, you're going out there and you're fired up. And like I said before, team kind of mimics their coach. And I said, Scotty Walden's a fiery kind of guy. Well, you saw it, and you even saw Scotty Walden. He was jumping up and down and, to the music. Even when they were down, he was still going and going. And he does that to keep a positive attitude for his team. But I think if we would have went like 3 and out, this game might have been closer than you think. But with us driving down, taking almost 6 minutes to score on that first drive, well, you got to think by then your adrenaline's going down. The offense is sitting on the bench. So about time now you go out, well, you're down 7-0, and you've been wanting to play now for a while. So you kind of calm down. So that's another thing that a good offense can do. It was just great to see, and just to see offense, well, we have 40 points. Hadn't got 40 points since when? I think we did it in 22, maybe. Had over 500 yards. We threw over 238 by Raiola is more than what we did all last year in a game. So I'm probably more impressed with the management, but more of the clean game. 3 penalties to 1 turnover. That's probably what I'm probably more proud of. If you guys, and I know everybody's, like I said, oh, it's UTEP. Well, has it mattered? So I'm kind of glad to see what we got. And remember, they always say you make your best improvement between game 1 and game 2. So if they could prove on that, I even think our team, I even think Nebraska, especially like on out by the wide receivers, the blocking, I thought even Nebraska had a little nerves. Nair and Banks, they kind of whipped on a couple of blocks out there. tight end screens to Padonia. It looks like, they were ready for them tight end screens. But I think it took them a while to settle down because even Banks and Padonia didn't seem very well, you know what I mean. Didn't seem like they had to get it and settle down. But once they settled down, and then you saw some better blocking out there. So I just think overall it was just a great game, and you got to be proud of them. So, man, 1-0. When's the last time you ever able to say that? And if they could go 2-0, oh gosh, to me next week's big, you know. And I still worry about next week because the old saying goes, defense wins ball games. So if you want to go by that, I think Nebraska wins. But I've also been heard and seen that an experienced quarterback, if you have a game that's kind of even, experienced quarterback's going to win. And then you'd have to give that to Sanders because I'm going to tell you right now, when I watched that game, that offensive line of theirs wasn't much better. It was a little better, but it wasn't much better. And I saw defenders in Sanders' face the whole game, and he would still make them passes. Now, there's going to be a big difference in Nebraska's front and North Dakota State's front. So I got a feeling we could get to him like that. If we could do what we did today, where we rushed about 3 or 4 guys, and got pressure in the backfield, we got to have that. If we could get that against Colorado, then it's going to be a good night. Because to me, that's the key. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop, especially our run game. I was probably impressed with the run game, just that overall game. I guess I was impressed for it all. But, this is our biggest win since Fresno State in 2016. We won 43-10 then. 2016. That's 8 years ago. Also, last time we won a bowl game. Emmett Johnson finished 8 for 71 yards. Dowdell finished 8 for 55 yards and a touchdown. He ran hard. I thought Dowdell ran hard, but he's the one that had the fumble down there. And if y'all saw that, I don't know if he came back in since then. Did he? Did y'all see him after that? Remember, I know Rule made the remark, hey, you turned the ball over, you're not playing. But he also made the remark, not one turnover is going to, they don't want him to be edgy where they have one mistake, they're going to be out of the game. So I don't think I wondered if he didn't get put back in because of that fumble, or was it just Gabe Urban and Emmett and them's time to run. But after that fumble, I don't remember seeing Dowdell. If y'all did, let me know. But I think but he ran hard. I thought Dowdell was running hard. So hey, Justin, I hope you had a good game. I hope you got to watch the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, even Justin said that he didn't come back in after that fumble, which I thought that's what I thought. And I kind of wonder, was that because of the fumble, or was that because it was just they were planning to play them all anyway? And you saw it at the beginning because Ramir Johnson took the very first snap. And then after that, it was mostly Dowdell. And he was running probably the best out of the two. And you didn't see Emmett, you didn't see Gabe. And I even thought he's saving Emmett and Gabe for probably the second half when UTEP's probably tired and all that. Then you put in some of these fresh backs. But the one thing you saw, they ran hard. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad I could do it. I'm glad someone got to enjoy it because I knew I couldn't. I knew it was going to go to waste. So, and I'm still dealing with this thing. So hopefully it'll be over by next week because I want to go to next week's game. That's one that I'm really thinking about going anyway, but I don't know. So, but I just think what I liked about it, what did you guys think? They ran the whole game. I saw Nebraska hitting. I saw running with physicality. I mean, all the backs, like, they made them linebackers pay. Did you see that? Dowdell did it, I thought, really well. Gabe came in and did it really well. And these were linebackers. And they were just bowling them over, So I just love the physicality. I haven't seen that probably since, back in Tom Osborne days and stuff, back when that's what they did all the time. So it was really impressive to actually see I don't know, would you call this a domination game? I guess in a way you would. But the good news is everyone saw action. And what about Ty Robinson's sack? I know someone made the remark before that Ty, they didn't think Ty was that good. He wasn't going to improve anymore, and said he wasn't quick enough to get to the quarterback. That he would always be just late. And I always said, well, a good defense doesn't always have to be a sack. You make the quarterback hurry up and throw the ball, then that's just as good as almost a sack. So that's what I worry about. How do you? I don't know if anyone could cover Hunter. So, but we got a veteran secondary. I kind of wonder, are they going to put two guys on him, or are they going to just put their best corner? Is that Tommy? But I think when they go in there and smack Colorado around, just think about it. This was UTEP. What are they going to do come next week? They want Colorado. They do. And it's going to be a night game in that atmosphere. They were hitting UTEP this hard. How are they going to hit next week? And I think Hunter plays both sides of the field and he played every snap. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that against Nebraska. I think he's going to be feeling it. I do. They were just physical, and it was everybody. Yeah, it was everybody. It wasn't just one person. I just loved it. Didn't you see it when you got down into the depth chart when you had players that you're wondering, all right, who's this one? They flew to the ball, hit just like they were the starters. So you could tell Rule and this coaching staff gets them all in practice. You could tell it. They played the same. And it was really impressive because how many times you've seen it in the game where you put in your depth, and that's when even a team like UTEP, that's when they drive down the field and get their scores because you're playing the second, third. We were going all the way down to everybody. We were probably in the fourth or however many strings we got for 120 players. I think they had to be down to 105. Was it 105 now at game time? But everybody got to play, they said, and we didn't really have to see a long field goal. Albano hit the only short field goal we had. They said John Hoare would have been the one kicking if it was a longer field goal. But I don't know if that next week with Sanders and Hunter, and they got more than just Hunter. Was that Horn look good? Offensively, it's going to be tough for Nebraska to stop Colorado. But can Colorado stop Nebraska? And then the question is, I feel like if Nebraska can stop them, it's going to be because their offensive line cannot protect Sanders. But Sanders makes things happen. How bad would Colorado be without Sanders or Hunter? Especially Sanders. I don't want to diss anybody, but I know they talk about Colorado's, Deion's done so great job on Colorado. Man, what we'd done with Sanders on our team last year, definitely would have won the West. And only bad thing is he wouldn't have the same receivers throwing to. But to me, that's what wins this game. I thought Harburg looked a lot much poised and in the pocket. But I guess if you and I were going out there with a 40-7 lead, we'd probably be pretty poised too, knowing you can't screw it up. But yeah, I agree. Without Sanders, 1-11, is that one us? No, because if we got Sanders, but I wonder how they're going to cover Hunter, or are they going to just cover him like anybody else, or maybe they're going to play it by ear. I don't think we beat him through the air. I think we beat him on the ground. To me, probably a little combination, probably what you saw today, because what I loved about today, we were so balanced. You didn't give anything for Colorado to go, oh, my God, they're going to run it, they're going to pass it. Our run looked so good, but I could tell by looking and you guys already knew from last year, our run game is a lot better than our pass game. Our offensive line definitely could run block better than they pass block. Not saying they did bad on the pass block, but I got a feeling they're going to be able to mix it up, and because of that, I think the run's what's going to probably get it for them. And the one thing that Colorado can't do very well yet, and I didn't see it in that game, was they didn't run very well. They kind of ran well at the end, but by then I think they wore down North Dakota State. And you guys don't realize, and that's kind of what happened to Nebraska, when you're playing in Boulder and over a mile high in the air center, by that third or fourth quarter, you're going to be a lot more gasping for air than you are in any other game. And I think that's what happened. Of course, Nebraska, the offense kept putting them in a bad spot last year, and they were on the field a lot. But that was a good thing to see this year, too, was we ran over 65 plays, I believe it was, which you just didn't see last year. So the defense was able to rest. It wasn't no 3 and out, and the defense coming back on there. It wasn't a turnover and the defense coming back out there. That means a lot. Look how well our defense did last year and been put in them spots. So this is a big thing. And to me, if you could get in there and establish that run, because what I liked about it is how you going to beat Colorado also. To me, that pounding that game, that 6-minute drive we had at the beginning of this game, then we had another one, I know it was over 5 minutes. That's what you're going to do. The longer you drive and smash them in the mouth, keep their defense on the field, and you got Sanders and Hunter sitting on the bench. That's how you cover Hunter. Well, he ain't on the bench. He's out there playing defense. But if you keep him out on defense all that whole time, that's 6 minutes, and now he's turning around, coming right back out on offense. I know he's a great athlete. He's, to me, they probably got 2 top 5 players, definitely top 10. They probably got 2 top 5 players. Because I've always been impressed with them too, but I've always said Sanders to me is probably the best quarterback. Just think what he's doing now with no offensive line. What's he going to do with an offensive line? How well is he going to do once he gets it out of his daddy's hands and get into a real, NFL team that now can really show him what he needs to do? I like Deion, don't get me wrong, but I think he holds back his son. Number 2, what's he call him? 2? I have confidence in 2. So it was really impressive, guys. I'm really, I know when we had that fumble, I was going, and then they scored, and then we had that fumble because that burned. What was it, like 3 plays? They scored on Hartzog, and you got to that was that Cam Davis kid I was telling you guys about. For UTEP. I said, man, he's electric. And they even tried to do an end around. I even said they're going to try to get the ball in his hand, do an end around or wide receiver screen, where they tried it. The great thing is Nebraska was all over it. But he did get that touchdown on him, and then they turned the ball over, and then you were thinking, oh, crap, man. I know I shouldn't think that, but everybody had to be thinking that. Come on, it's like, all right, are we going to start this again? And if we're thinking it as fans, is it kind of in the back of players' minds, mainly the ones that's been there the whole time? Obviously not. They kind of got out of it and moved the ball. Good thing is Raul wasn't during all that, so he came out here, and I just thought he handled the game management well. But he's going to go up against a better defensive front next week, because one thing Colorado does have, they do have a defensive line. They do have a decent defensive line. So it's going to be a little more tougher there. But I really believe if we could establish that run, we'll be able to pass, because their secondary I wonder about. Because you were asking, like, are they going to go do through the air or on the ground? I think it's going to be the ground. I think the ground's going to establish it. But don't be surprised, because to me today, that's what did it. It was a ground game. We pounded and pounded and pounded, and then we put it in the air. Why? Because they were bringing everybody in the box. They were bringing everybody in, because that's why Raiola went to, audible to the pass. They were bringing everybody in. He audible to the pass. Then I don't know what he saw, but then he audible back to that run, and obviously that was a good choice, because Emmett went for about, I don't know how far it was. He almost made it. He didn't go all the way. But I thought the run is what set up our passing game. because we went out pounding. We were getting chunks on the running game. And I think that's what we need to do next week. So I am very satisfied. If you didn't hear, Nebraska had 507 yards of total offense, 284 in passing, 223 yards rushing. They dominated on first downs. They were, the last time I counted, they were what, 15 of, let's see, like 15 of 18 or something like that on thirds. 12 of 15. That's what it was. That's the last time I saw it. Of course, by then we were way in the depth chart. So might have went down a little bit, but we were like third, fourth string in there playing. That wins ball games, guys. Only three turnovers. Let me take that back. Only 3 penalties. Only 1 turnover. You were 12 of 15 on third down. If you could get that, you're gonna win almost every game. So I was pretty impressed when it came to that. Well, I wanted to come in, give you kind of my gut reaction. If y'all have anything else to say, go ahead. I'm proud. I think we could jump off, go to watch Husker online. I like watching Sean and Sip. I know they're coming up here soon. They said 8:00, but they might come on sooner than that. I think the game got over quicker than we thought. Oh yeah, Dylan did a really good job in his pre-state. He did a great job. He seemed like he knew, for a freshman to know, to go in, and he knew the plays well. He knew what to audible to. He knew what he was looking at. If he didn't, then he got lucky of guessing where he needed to go, because then plays worked. But you could tell the confidence in him. And this was a kid that's telling me he was really feeling the pressure at the beginning. It took about the third drive. What's he going to do when this is like nothing to him? What's he going to be like next year or junior? Sad thing is, we're probably only going to get him till junior, and then he's probably leaving. I don't know. Maybe if we have that team where we could win it all, maybe he'll stay. Now the way they get paid in NIL. But if he keeps playing and improves like this, he's probably a first-round draft pick, top 10 for sure, mainly when it comes to quarterback. And they're the ones that really get paid in the NFL right off the bat. If you're anyone else, if you're not in the first round, you're probably better off making more money in NIL. So, well, guys, I appreciate you guys jumping on. And next week, I'm going to be hopefully in Lincoln watching Colorado at the night game. And, man, we got to win that one. So I'll do a prediction video probably Wednesday. Man, I'm really up in the air when it comes to Colorado. So we'll break that down on Wednesday. So thank you guys for jumping on, and go Big Red.